What's up, boys and girls? We're here for another movie review. We saw War of the Planet of the Apes.
War of the Planet of the Apes.
The third installment of this great, hopefully, trilogy.
Yeah, let's hope it's a trilogy.
I thought it was really good.
I thought it was awesome. So, the synopsis of this film is it's a war film between apes and humans, and that's what you're getting. Now, one of the things I didn't just enjoy about this film, what I loved about this film was the tone. And Matt Reeves, he's a genre director, and he's so good at it. You know, he did the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and the one before that as well, and they gradually get darker, and this one's no exception. I mean, there's a lot of violence in it. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot of death, and then just like, you know, they have these scenes where it's like, you know, it's almost like slavery at one point.
A lot of disturbing imagery, like slavery,
right? Yeah,
crucifixion.
Yeah, and there's, you know, the allegory is pretty dark too. You know, the biblical sense, you know, the whole just kind of oppressive dictatorship almost that you get from the colonel in this film.
When you start like enslaving intelligent beings, that gets very dark also. Yeah. I mean, it takes a lot from a lot of different movies.
Yeah, it does. I mean, you got, you know, The Great Escape in there. You have Apocalypse Now in there.
A lot of biblical references. There's a little bit of like Moses, Journey of Moses in it. Now, this whole film is through the point of view of the apes, which I loved because I just loved seeing their community, how they interact with each other through sign language. Yep. And also, I mean, Caesar can talk, but everyone else signs to each other, what I thought was just really cool just to see.
Very unique.
Yeah, how they live, how they move, how they eat, how they hunt. Yeah. It's just all that stuff I thought was really cool. What it does end up being is it makes you hate all the humans because all the humans in the movie are despicable. Yeah. All the humans in the movie are despicable.
Even when you find out their motivation while they're doing what they're doing, it's very, you understand and you know why they're doing it, but you're just like, these apes are effing awesome though. Like, don't get rid of them. Like, like you still don't sympathize with the humans, even though you are human watching this. You still love the community of these apes so much more. They did beautifully. You know, Andy Serkis being Caesar
and Karen Kanavel playing
Maurice.
And their interaction with each other, their chemistry with each other,
flawless,
is amazing.
It's amazing, and it's just great to see that, you know, they're able to put the apes in this light nowadays. You know, they caught up with technology with this movie, and they played it up to the T. It's just beautifully shot.
I looked at Caesar, and there were times where I looked at Caesar like, hey,
that's Andy Serkis.
That's Andy Serkis
that's
right
Andy
there.
Serkis. We know who that is.
Which I really like. I like when they put the actual person's face in it. I see it in cartoons too sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
We're like, oh, that's John Goodman.
Yeah.
John Goodman is that's not Sully, that's John Goodman.
Sully at all. That's John Goodman. Yeah, they did that really well. This movie, like I said, the tone is very dark. And I was really scared because I was hoping they weren't going to screw it up with comedy. Like that, you know, you heard they had to reshoot Suicide Squad because it was too dark. Yeah. You know, Guardians of the Galaxy could have got really dark, really emotional, but they lightened it up with all the humor and this and that. Now, there is humor in this film, but it is not forced. It is not done, you know, badly. It's to a T, it is perfect, because what I feel like a lot of Hollywood films break the role of is they break characters in order to relieve a joke. This did not do that, and particularly with Bad Ape. Now, Bad Ape, you know, he comes in, halfway through the film or something like that, and the thing about this ape is that it's so sincere. It's so authentic. There's such a charm to this ape. And he just kind of almost at one point takes the movie. You know, it's so refreshing to see humor, you know, in such a positive light because it's sincere. It is to the character.
But it's also very natural.
It's
just, it's a part of his character, like you said.
Exactly.
So, at no point does it feel forced.
No point. And it's also, it's cute.
Yeah.
You know, you're seeing a little ape, and, you know, he's kind of like, he doesn't have as much fur as the other apes and everything like that. He almost looks like a little baby, a little kid kind of.
He talks like a little kid.
Right.
Too.
You know, and it's so well. It's one of my favorite characters, one of my favorite times during the film. And I just got to give kudos to Steve Zahn, who played the ape, and, you know, the voice acting through him was amazing. And I think Matt Reeves has a really good balance. You know, he knows how to bring that out of actors and in the screenplay and not force it. Now, one thing that was apparent to me when I was watching this film was when, you know, in the preview, you see that Woody Harrelson is a part of this film, and, you know, he's on the opposite side than the apes. And as soon as I saw him and I kind of saw his demeanor, how he carried himself, how he was kind of like this hierarchy to this ruling society, I automatically thought of Marlon Brando in Apocalypse Now. And I was just like, oh, They went there.
They watched it.
They watched it. They went there, and they did well. I think this one was a little toned down. You know, Colonel Kurtz in Apocalypse Now was literally crazy. Like he had gone crazy, you know, going through the war, seeing all the, you know, the injustices and the violence and everything. And not saying Woody Harrelson didn't see that, because you get his backstory and you realize he is dealing with pain as well, but he is still he's toned down. He's not crazy yet. He's just very vigilant. And Woody Harrelson's amazing in it.
He's good.
He does good. I wish he had a little bit bigger of a part.
So this was a great film. There was a couple of things I didn't like about it. One of the things was that, I mean, I love Woody Harrelson, True Detective, Cheers.
Oh my God.
Cheers.
The People versus Larry Flint. I mean, you can't go wrong with this guy.
But he was a little underwritten, and his character was a little one-toned.
Yeah, it was.
He didn't have that much screen time, and his motivations were...
They were there,
but they were a little too simple. It makes sense, but at the same time, I really wanted more, and I wanted more of a dynamic bad guy, because he is the bad guy to this film, and unfortunately, he's kind of a bit character at the very end of it.
A little bit.
He's kind of just he's the antagonist to a very small degree.
Yeah.
And I just wish there was more of him, and he was, you know, a much bigger part of the movie.
Yeah.
So for my final score, you haven't heard this yet. I haven't told you.
Oh snap!
But it's an 8 out of 10. I really like this movie. I like Dawn. I like the first one. I forget what it's called. Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I liked all of them.
They're all good. It's a great trilogy.
Yeah, it's a great trilogy. But when you compare it to the movies that we've seen lately that have come out lately, like Baby Driver or Spider-Man: Homecoming, Wonder Woman, which we've reviewed, I feel like this movie it chooses what it wants to be, which is very dark. Yeah. And it goes through it, and it doesn't ask for forgiveness.
No, it doesn't deviate from its course, from its tone. It's it's not one note at all. No. Like, you're getting the emotion, you're getting all those different things, but the tone is so consistent. Yes. And that's what a movie should do.
With the movies that I mentioned before that we reviewed, I feel like we always said that, like, did the studios get in
on
this and change it? Like, you have to add some love, you have to add comedy, you have to add this. No, Planet of the Apes War on the Planet of the Apes wasn't this.
It wasn't that at all.
And I enjoyed it so much for that. And I liked it because it really stuck to its guns on what it wanted to be, which was a dark war film.
For my final score, I'm gonna go 9.5. And people are gonna be like, "Oh my God, that's
the highest score that we've."
That's the highest score we've ever done. And for me, there's layers to that. Like, you know, there's other films that I felt that we reviewed, independent foreign films, that probably were a more unique story, executed a little better. But when you put them in their categories and you take this as a blockbuster film, it's so much more than a popcorn film. It does all those things that a blockbuster film does and elevates it to a higher level. You know, with the tone, with the acting, with the fact that you are literally seeing humans interpret monkeys the way they do it, and you forget you're looking at monkeys. You just go, no, this is just a movie about interaction, about emotion, about war, about, you know, being deprived of your rights, whether it's human or animal rights. And it kind of digs at these certain questions, you know, past what a lot of comic book and blockbuster movies do. And that's why I gave it such a high score. Not just those aspects alone, but because it has a high replay value. And you cannot watch just this one. You can watch the first two and then be satisfied with this one. This one you can watch over and over again.
But you can watch for Andy Serkis's acting. You can watch for the cute, funny moments from Bad Ape.
Bad Ape, the other elements from other movies that it took. So there's layers to it, and this movie it executed everything well, and it just hit all the right cylinders. And I say kudos to the crew, Matt Reeves, everybody. I've liked all your movies so far. Keep it going. You're amazing.
War for the Planet of the Apes. That was a review. If you've seen it, comment below. Tell us if you liked it. If you thought it was a 9.5, an 8.0, a 1.0. I don't know. Okay. But this is Black and Yellow Movies for another movie review.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys. What's up, boys and girls? This is Black and Yellow Movies, and we're here to do another foreign film for you. Today, we're going to do a French film called Raw.
Now, Raw follows a young girl who is a vegetarian during her first days at veterinarian school. And during her first days at this school, she goes through various hazing rituals by the upperclassmen, and they go as far as dumping blood onto these lower classmen. Now, this really sparks the catalyst for the film because it causes her to develop a taste for meat.
So this movie, Raw, is amazing. You guys need to watch it. It is crazy because it talks about something that we don't talk about or we don't see that often, and it's about cannibalism. So one of the things that we really liked about this film is that it keeps you on the edge of your seat. You're kind of wondering what's going to happen.